smells wafted over, the sweetness of his deodorant, the smoky floral of some other product, and, beneath all that, a scent like the quiet grass at night. In the end, he was the one to take off his glasses and kiss me. But instead of bursting into sparks, my body froze. If I shifted a millimeter, everything would break. Even thinking that word, kiss, was like touching an ice wand to my chest. My ribs seized, freezing solid and spiderwebbing with cracks. I was no longer a firework. I was a thing frozen deep in the Arctic. Axel's hands stretched around my back and unlocked me. I was melting. He had released my wind-up key and I was kissing back hard and our lips were everywhere and my body was fluorescent orange, no royal purple, no. My body was every color in the world, alight. We'd been eating chocolate-covered popcorn just minutes ago and that was exactly how he tasted, sweet and salty. An explosion of thoughts made me pull away. The cloud of debris consisted of remembering that he was my best friend, that he was the only person I trusted 100% besides Mom, that I shouldn't be kissing him, couldn't be kissing him. "What color?" Axel said quietly. This is the question we always ask to figure out what the other person's feeling. We've been best friends since Mrs. Donovan's art class, long enough that that's all we need. One color to describe a mood, a success, a failure, a wish. I couldn't answer him. Couldn't tell him I was flashing through the whole goddamn spectrum, including a new dimension of hues I'd never before experienced. Instead, I stood up. "Shit," I breathed. "What?" he said. Even in the dim light of the lone basement bulb, I could see how his face was flushed. My hands. I didn't know where to put my hands. "Sorry, I have to go." We had a no bullshit rule with each other. I kept breaking it. "Seriously, Leigh?" he said. But I was already running up the stairs, grabbing at the railing to pull myself up faster. I burst into the hallway outside the living room and gulped down breaths like I'd just broken the surface after the deepest dive. He didn't follow. The front door slammed as I left. Even his house was pissed at me. The sound rang out puke green. I thought of the hardcover of a book smacking shut on a story that wasn't finished. 2. I never saw the body up close. The police arrived and I raced ahead of them. Up the stairs 2 at a time. Burst into the master bedroom with a force that nearly cracked the door. All I could see were my mother's legs on the floor, horizontal and sticking out from the other side of the bed. And then Dad was behind me, pulling me out of the way while my ears rang with a shrieking. It was so loud I was certain it was a noise brought by the police. Only when I stopped to catch my breath did I realize the shrieking was coming from me. My own mouth, my own lungs. I saw the stain after they removed my mother, after someone had made a first attempt at cleaning it out of the carpet. Even then, it was still dark and wide, oblong and hideous. Barely the shape of a mother. It's easier to pretend the stain is acrylic paint, pigment, emulsion, water-soluble until it dries. The one part that's hard to pretend about? Spilled paint is only ever an accident. Spilled paint doesn't involve a knife and a bottle of sleeping pills. The day after it happened, we spent hours searching for a note. That was the surreal part. Dad and I floated around the house, moving sloth-like as we pulled at drawers, flipped open cabinets, traced our fingers along shelves. It's not real unless we find a note. That was the thought that kept running through my brain. Of course she would leave a note. I refused to go into the master bedroom. It was impossible to forget. Mom's feet sticking out from behind the bed, my blood pounding. She's dead, she's dead, she's dead. I leaned against the wall out in the hallway and listened to Dad riffling through papers, searching, moving from one side of the room to the other, sounding as desperate as I felt. I heard him open her jewelry box and shut it again. Heard him shifting things around on the bed. He must have been looking under the pillows, under the mattress. Where the hell did people usually leave their notes? If Axel were there...